be out there and have her up here because this is her forte. But because I am a hidden figure, I have to step in and help her hold this thing up, because that's what we're supposed to do when we're in Christ. We're called to stand in unity and to help one another out. Come here, Lorraine.
All right now. Make it plain.
Talk, Liza.
So now, if she wasn't on this side, right now what we have is an imbalance of power. Go on this side. Leaders have to recognize sometimes you have an imbalance of power, but when you have hidden figures helping you out, now the power runs in unity. We all running the same. So therefore, that's what hidden figures do. We don't necessarily need all of the recognition, but God, being a hidden figure, is a God appointed. It's designed. He framed us for this. He knew us to be this before we were even here on this earth. That's why she's a born leader. I'm a hidden figure, and I believe she operates in a hidden figure. That's why I sure say hidden figures. She's a born leader, and without us on each side, she couldn't hold this thing up very long. And if she didn't have us to help her in whatever her struggles is or whatever God assigned for her to do, then she can't go forth and be who God called her to be without any help. And that's the purpose of having a hidden figure. You can put it down now. So you see how that works. But here's some characteristics, thank y'all, of a hidden figure. Most times, hidden figures, they think they're invaluable. Hidden figures are invaluable. Can't no price or anything be placed on a hidden figure. They step up without being asked. Moses didn't ask her to do his job. He just did it. He just did it without anything. Hidden figures are involved. They don't compare themselves to anybody. They don't say, oh, well, she doing this or he doing this. Why I have to do that? They just go for what they know. Whatever you operate in, just go for what you know. Be yourself, because I tell my kids, there is nobody better. There's not a better Elijah. There's not a better Zion. There's not a better little Eliza. Just be yourself. Be the best you that you can be. And most of all, be effective.
Amen.
There's no point in being a hidden figure if you can't be effective. What you there for? And it said, whatever your role is, whatever you do it, but do it big. That means do it to the utmost. Yeah. And then most hidden figures, invisible. We're invisible. Mm-hmm. And it just says you work regardless. And it says you work while others get the thanks. But in working while others get the thanks, still be faithful to it.
Amen.
Be faithful, because that's the only thing that God requires us to be faithful. Be faithful to his word. Be faithful to what he's called you to do. And lastly, what a hidden figure is, we're investors. We invest in whatever ministry that God calls us to be a part of. Invest in it, because when you invest in it, sometimes you may reap the benefits right then, but I do believe if you continue to invest, you'll reap the benefit of eternally, the benefit of eternal salvation. So you may not ever get the thanks here, you may not ever hear a thank you, but continue to stand still and be an investor. And it says that one thing I noticed was HUR's grandson was called to build a tabernacle, and he was only called because of HUR's faithfulness to his leaders. Hidden figures, we have to be faithful to our leaders regardless.
Amen.
Nobody's asking for perfection from a leader, because we're not perfect, because our righteousness is dirty, filthy rags. We're not perfect, but continue to be faithful, because when you're faithful, even if you don't reap the benefits, it goes down, it visits generations and generations. Amen. Think about Jonathan and how David asked, hey, is there anybody from his house that I can bless? And he brought him to the table, and he got to sit with a king. Mm-hmm. Be faithful. And it says, when you're a hidden figure, you store blessings. You just store blessings, and it's like just putting money in a bank account. You may not cash it out, but there may be somebody else that can cash it out.
Amen.
So therefore, that's all I got with the hidden figures.
Yes. Yes.